like a geezer. Feel yourself a cracker.
Alright, Sonny.
Like an old
You go and turn that record off now. Hello, all you young whippersnappers out there. It is I, Grandpappy Papa, back once again. And I hope you folks out there are enjoying this spring weather. I know spring just started. Winter, it's just dying down good, and the weather's getting slightly warmer. But you know, there's something I like to do this time of year. I do. This time of year, I like to go fishing. Yep, I do. Now, I can't go fishing in the summer because it's too hot, and I think I'm allergic to every mosquito and fly in existence almost. And I can't go in the wintertime because the cold like messes with my arthritis. So, you know, going fishing in the spring is the perfect season for me. It is. So today, I want to talk to you about the olden days of fishing. And I tell you, boy oh boy, unlike those fish, I did not get along swimmingly back then. I didn't. Fishing was definitely a very good adventure for me back in my younger days. It was. But back in my day, we didn't have all these fancy schmancy rods and reels, and we didn't have access to all those bait shops. Man, back in my day, it was a real struggle. It was. Like if we wanted a rod and reel, what we did was we had to go into the woods and find ourselves a big old branch. Sometimes we couldn't even find a good old bamboo stick. Like I know a lot of people used to use bamboo sticks, but we didn't have bamboo sticks. We had to go out there and find a beaver and like use the beaver to like gnaw down a tree branch and use that. And for like a fishing line, we had to like untie our boot strings and just like wrap them around each other, like tie them into a knot or whatever, and just, you know, try to cast it out like that. The longer the branch, the more distance I could get to try and catch a fish. But yeah, I remember one time I was out there with my daddy over there on Lake Aqua, or was it Lake Aquahydro? So something like that. But yeah, thankfully my daddy was able to get a good old boat. He was able to find a boat. We went out there onto that there lake, and I tried catching this fish. I wanted to catch a big catfish. I did. I wanted to go out there and catch a big catfish, but before we went out to the lake though, I know I needed to find some bait. Now, normally back in my day, if we wanted to find some bait, we needed to go and actually dig some up. Alright? We would have to dig a hole and get some worms straight from the ground, okay? And I remember my uncle Billy, he had a worm farm. He had a whole farm of just worms out there, and it was a nasty experience. But I went out there trying to get some worms for my bait or whatever, and I get out there and holy moly, he had a lot of worms. That's like a lot of worms out there. So I just like reached down into the soft soil because that soil is soft and it's like mud out there. I go out there to get some bait, and as soon as my hand goes right into the mud, I find the one spot that didn't have mud. I found dookie. I found a whole collection of worm dookie, and it was nasty. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't find worms though. First, I found a spider, and that spider bit me on the fingernail really bad. But anyways, I was able to get some worms eventually after I got back from the hospital. We actually went out there on the Lake Aquahydro, went fishing, and oh boy, we caught a big old fish. It was a big old catfish that we caught that day. We got onto the boat, and the boat started sinking because the fish was so heavy. But we was like that close from sinking. I was all the way up to my waist because the water was so deep after it was sinking. That fish was almost ready to escape, but my daddy, he was able to catch it, put it into a good old headlock, did a headlock takeover on it, put the fish in a full Nelson even though it didn't have no arms. My daddy was amazing as a fisherman. He was. So that night we took the fish home, and we was able to cook it and serve it up for dinner. We cooked the fish, we had it for dinner, and boy oh boy, we had a new meaning of the word fish sticks. I tell ya. Oh, you think fish sticks are the little sticks that was like actually made of fish and covered in breading? No. These fish sticks were different. Our fish stick came straight from the fish's... I don't think I can say that word. We didn't have fish sticks. We had fish. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. I can't say that. But yeah, the catfish was still delectable and it was tasty and I enjoyed it. So, moral of the story is this. H2O. Have a good day.
We all got a hillbilly ball down deep inside. No matter where you're from, you just can't hide it when the band starts playing and the fiddle saws. You can't have a hum around here.
Booyah!